can see a very nice line of mountains, and that's where we often fly because that's where the good weather is. It also happens to be on the approach path to Albuquerque, and I was rudely notified of this when I had an MD-11 heading at me perpendicular to the glider and coming quite fast, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. It certainly got my attention, and at that point I decided I'm just going to descend. I'm going to get out of his way. Now, when I sped up to about 100 miles an hour, I realized we were still converging. And at that point, I opened up the brakes, and that increased the sync rate enough that we finally started diverging a bit. And this FedEx MD-11 passed about 300 feet above me. Now, they actually, the contestants that were there, they know that they actually managed to get a hold of the FedEx pilots that were on that airplane through their own channels. And they managed to get a hold of the first officer, and she was a Reno Air Race pilot. And they asked her, did you see a red glider out there? And she said, surprisingly, yes, they did see me. And she said that they saw a red 126 going like this about 7 seconds in front of them, and that, and I quote, he must have soiled his underwear. So that you guys don't soil your underwear, I'm going to have Bill mention what the airways and the place where you gotta avoid, or gotta be very vigilant.
My background before I got on with the airlines as a job was in air traffic control. I retired out of Albuquerque as the assistant air traffic manager. During the course of my tenure there, I had published on the Miera STAR stands for Standard Terminal Arrival Group, which comes just about right smack over the Moriarty Airport. And on that STAR it says intensive glider activity 17,500 and below. Well, the problem is nowadays nobody uses paper anymore. Everybody's got it on the computer or on iPad in the aircraft. So they're probably not paying a whole lot of attention to that. The other issue is, and now I'm going to get it back in the airliner, is when you're doing a descent, you're running a checklist, an approach checklist, a descent checklist, all of these various things, and you're not looking out the window that much. And now that we have TCAS, which is the device in the airliner that allows you to see transponder-equipped aircraft, you're not looking out the window even more. So it behooves you to be aware of the fact that these airplanes are coming in over top of us. I just got off the phone about a half an hour ago talking to some of the folks up at the Albuquerque Center, and I asked them to stop. Here's part of the problem too. As you're coming in your fast-ass Sonobici, just doing 320 knots, chasing the barber pole, you're handed off from the Albuquerque Center to the Albuquerque Approach Control, and that happens right over the Moriarty Airport. So there's a time there when they're really not talking to too much of anybody, or there's a few seconds. But in any case, I talked to the center, and I've asked them to stop the arrivals at 18,000 feet from 12 o'clock till sunset during the duration of the contest. I've talked to Approach Control, and I said, here's what I've asked the center to do. I hope you guys are okay with that. And they will quite often, if they see transponder-equipped gliders up here, they'll stop the arrivals at 18 without her saying a thing to them because they're really very much aware of that. I hope all of you guys are transponder equipped. You know better than that. Well, if you want to go back to Albuquerque as a pedo cover on a 737, knock yourself out. But I've also talked to Approach Control. They're aware of the fact that we're asking them to keep arrivals at 18,000 or so till they get ideally over the Monsantos and Sandias and then do a slam dunk. So that's how that's going to work. Any questions about that?
Oh, thanks for doing that.